That's right. It's Monday night. It's the 5 year anniversary show for Sports on the Hill podcast. Started out 5 years ago. Me and Robbie on the air, getting the things done, and we can hear the goal horn in the back of Robbie in the man cave of the Capitals, scoring another goal, making it 5-0. Robbie G, how a better way to start the show, the 5 year anniversary show than with a five spot on the board against
I can't believe that we start our fifth anniversary show and within 1 minute a fifth goal to make it 5-0 in this
Hey,
game.
hey, meant to
Uh,
be, man.
yeah, an incredible goal. Really a deep shot, and it was just a lot of people in front of the net. Good net presence, double screen going. And I think it's deflected maybe off of them. It's hard to tell. It's one of those shots. You'll see it on the third replay. It was difficult
Yeah,
for me to see. It's definitely tipped. I just don't know if it's off of them or off of us, or it changed direction. It seemed like to me. But either way, the Capitals are up 5-0 with 13 minutes left in the third. We'll break down this game as well as Nicholas Backstrom becomes second most games played now. So we got these two players right here now as number one and number two in most games played in Washington Capitals history. So that's really cool that that's happening tonight as well. We got this live Capitals game against Buffalo that we're just talking about. We also have the Wizards playing the Milwaukee Bucks. Right now, the Wizards are down 110 to 115. But Milwaukee just turned the ball over. So the Wizards got the ball with about 6:28 left in the fourth quarter for that. So we're both going to have a post-game show and third period show for the Capitals and a post-game fourth quarter show for the Wizards here. We'll see if they can close that gap of that 5 points. We'll give you any scoring updates if they're able to take the lead as well. A power play for the Washington Capitals now as well. So I didn't catch what he had done to go to the sin bin. But they are 0 for 1 on the power play with 3 shots. But the Capitals go back on the power play with 12:43. It's a hooking call. Anyway, so yeah, lots of fun stuff to talk about. 5 years, Carol. 5 years ago, we started this podcast. This is towards the end of now our fifth season, this COVID extended season that sort of changed the dynamics of when it started. But we're here in week 32 of season 5. Next week will be the last week of season 5. But yeah, we're back on Twitch. So hello to all the people live watching on Twitch. Hello to the people live watching on Facebook and Carol's feeds and all sorts of cool stuff. So we really appreciate everyone for tuning in and from all over.
no doubt, no doubt. 5 years, we started out just the radio streaming on there. Then we got into the visuals. Now we're streaming on all different, platforms. We have our podcasting platforms on iHeartRadio, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. You can check us out on all of those. It's just been an amazing ride, expanding and growing like we have, and growing the followers that we have, and the folks that tune in on a weekly basis that inbox me, asking me sports stuff. This is why we started this show. DC Sports about the politics. It's not just a catchphrase. It's not just a motto. It's what we do. We bring sports to the folks that don't want to hear all of that BS. You hear on the radio, all the anonymous sources, and all of the clickbait we saw a couple of weeks ago. Some stuff came out that was unfounded and fabricated, and had to get retracted because they wanted listens and wanted clicks on their page. But turned out not to be true. We are proud to say we've never had to retract anything off our page.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, thank you, Greg, for congratulating us on the Facebook feed. I appreciate it. I'm about to share this to a couple of hockey groups and stuff like that. Let's. I don't have any too many news and notes tonight. So we got all those live games. Do you have anything, Carol, before we start talking hockey?
Just the NFL all season is in full swing. New England Patriots made some uh, nice signings today. We're still waiting to see what the Washington football team is going to do. But stay tuned for NFL talk. We try to coordinate with Dujane and get some of the college roundup for the draft that's upcoming, and some of the free agent moves that are expected, and to see what's going to happen. So stay tuned for that. And we got baseball coverage coming in season 6 when we started up after we take our break at the end of the month. So yeah, stay tuned. We're gonna try to figure out a way to get all the sports in hopefully a maybe 2.5 hour show. We've been going more than 2 hours with just two sports. Now we got to see how we want to try to get all four in.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. I'm excited for baseball to come back, and we'll try to figure out whether that goes second or third. I think we'll still start with the Caps talk as always because I kind of like the energy that comes with. And but yeah, it's a fun time. Season 6 is going to bring so much more. The return, hopefully, on Twitch and other platforms, and really just trying to expand our reach and put us out there on so many different things. And Twitch has new options for podcasts that they didn't have before. I was just talking before, but I actually now on a new group. See if that brings in any new listeners and from all over the world. I really love the Twitch community, so hopefully it does. And yeah, well, with that, I think we just bring in Anna right now, and we can talk some hockey. We'll go back in time, and yeah, it's a great night so far, Anna. And how are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm so happy for you guys. I'm not muted, right?
No, you're good. You're good.
Good.
I keep it like it's a teaching habit where I'm like, your mic's not on. Thrilled for you guys and the success of this podcast. It is an honor to be part of it. And I will say, Robbie, your face was priceless when the the horn went off and it was like we're you and Carol like, oh, it's 5 years and his fifth goal. That made my night. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
There you go. I don't get to usually get a live goal horn. My goal horn also, if anyone doesn't know, predates when the goal is. So I'm like, something good's about to happen. And then I see the goal. So shout out to Budweiser for being able to predict goals, at least for me. And yeah, it's been a fun night. I like it when the goal horn goes off 5 times. So it's all good.
Yeah, this has been a good game.
Yeah, it's I'm starting to feel sorry for the Buffalo goalie, man.
Yeah,
It's like, all right, that's enough, y'all. Don't score no more. Like,
yeah,
he might retire after this. He might not ever get back on the ice again after this game.
yeah. It's there does become a point where you're like, mm, he's a good guy. If it was someone I like, someone I couldn't, could care less about. But Buffalo they've been through the ringer, so
Yeah,
we'll see. But either way, our boys look good.
I agree.
let's get into this 3-0 week that we had. It was a very very interesting week in my.
It was. I think it was. I think some of us thought it was just going to be 2-1, but I will take the 3-0. So Tuesday, the Capitals welcome the Devils. So we have TJ Oshie. My goodness, open the scoring with the power play goal at 17:22, assisted by Schultz and Backstrom. Second period has Vrana scoring his ninth at 7:42, followed by about 2 minutes later, Sprong making it 3-0. Daniel Sprong, he is hot. Wow, see impressive. The Devils score at 12:44, and then Orlov gets his third, assisted by Ponick, to make it a 4-1 into the third. The Devils dominated that third period with 3 goals to tie it up. I don't think anybody saw this one coming, and all of a sudden we head into overtime. But luckily, at what was a 1:30, Jacob Vrana scores in overtime, and the Caps get a win.
Yeah.
It was a good game. It was a stressful game. And unfortunately, this is a pattern that we're going to see in the next 2 games of the Capitals having a fantastic lead and making it a little too close for comfort for some of the fans.
Yeah, I'll let Carol give his first impressions on this game, but I have definitely some thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first 2 periods, great Caps hockey. But we've seen, unfortunately, this season, the third period has given the Caps problems. So I'm not going to say I saw it coming for them to tie it up. I knew they were going to give a pushback. I didn't think they were going to tie the game up and force overtime. But unfortunately, it went that way. They found a way to win. Um, you spoke about Sprong. He's playing some good hockey when he got out there when the Russians were out with COVID. Had a chance to play, and he was playing well. And whenever he gets in there, he's making things happen. He's hustling, and now he's scoring also. So that's all you can ask of your players that's coming off the bench. And once again, my dog decided to chew his bone during showtime.
My cat's cleaning himself right here next to me, so it's all par for the
Think they want
course.
to get their shine off for the
Right,
popular.
that's fine. Hey, they want to be on the 5th-year anniversary special,
That's
so
all
be
good.
it. So
He over here chewing his bone right by my mic, so I go and pick it up. You got your cat cleaning. The animal's taking over the feed, man.
yeah, yes, that's about right. So, but yeah, I mean, it's frustrating to give up 3 goals like that. I mean, they had full control over that game, 4-1. And it was just really frustrating. And you could see that they had kind of benched Verana, and he was frustrated, and he won it, and didn't even seem that happy about the fact that he won it, which is good because I think he gets the idea that we should have won that game, 5-2 or something. Like it should never have gotten, to an overtime situation. But you have to win against all the teams in the league. And I mean, one thing we'll talk about a little later is how good the Islanders have been doing, right? They're the hottest team in the league. And we're going to have to play them tomorrow in a back-to-back from tonight. But they have feasted on New Jersey and Buffalo. And so in the same way that we have, but you have to. The division is so difficult, and the standings are so different than they even were a week ago when we talked about it. But it's just it's frustrating to give it up, but I'm happy we had the resolve to find a way to pull a win out of that, because in so many previous seasons we would have found a way to lose that game.
I agree, but I think the says that shots in the third periods with 16 and the Capitals with 5. Come on, guys. So it's we're still lacking that full 60 minutes of hockey. I know a win's a win, but some of it was just luck. I mean, it was like, come on. So unfortunately, I was hoping that the shots on goal trend would end, but it does not when we go to Philly.
Yeah, that is very true. So it was, Orlov had a holding penalty. Buffalo is on the power play, 135 left in that. We got 6:45 left in the third period. Washington's still up 5-0. The power play actually for Buffalo is their strong point. It's 5th in the league, and our penalty kill is 11th in the league. So this is where we got to sort of game going the way that it is. So, real quickly, the next 2 games and sort of complete that trifecta. I did well in both games, but obviously
assisted at 8:37, followed by Konechny scoring at 11:14, and Sherry closing out the first with his 6, assisted by Sprong. Second period was all caps. Carlson scores his 6. Dowd scores his 4th, assisted by Chara and Hathaway, and we are now at the 4-1 lead. Third period, Philly scores twice in a little over 10 minutes. But then we had this amazing Nick Dowd empty netter, assisted by Sammy. And it was a 5-3 Capitals win. And so again, it was close, but it still wasn't that 60 minutes. And I will say shots on goal in that second and third period this time, the Capitals had 5, Philly had 8. In the third period, Capitals had 7, and Philly had 14. So, that's, if you're looking at it from a stats point of view, that's more like, come on, guys, you have it in you to play 60, and we're just.
And then I'll give mine.
Seen them do it in spurts, and we've seen a game here, a game there. We've seen them play well over 60 minutes, and right now, I'm not really too upset about it. I mean, getting outshot. We saw this team go through a transition before Stanley Cup run. When they had to learn to tighten up their defense, they're getting better at it. The neutral zone defense, it's just waiting to see what happens, right?
Yeah, it just happened.
It's
I'm so delayed again, so I feel like I'm still in the first period. I gotta put my glasses on.
Ovechkin, there it is. Connor shared NHL history. So 7-17. Hold on to this game here. Out of this game, but I don't want to say it.
Yeah.
So
You
we'll
can't
keep
say
on.
it.
We'll move on, and we'll talk about this the
Getting back
Philadelphia
to our
game.
breakdown to get the shots on goal. We've seen them play tight defense in some occasions. They just haven't done it on a consistent basis. And I think the further season goes along, I'm hoping we'll see them get it done on a consistent basis and get more deeper into the system. But this game, you spoke about Nick Dowd. I mean, he's been, we've been talking about how he's been killing at the face-off dot. Now he's scoring. He had 2 goals in this game. And, that goes to some of the depth that we talk about that's going to be key, when they make the playoffs that you're going to need because you're going to have the top defense going against the top line, which, sometimes is a chess match and sometimes the other defenders get the best of the top line and the top line get the best of the defenders. It's good to see.
That was an
It was
incredible,
incredible.
like the skills that these players have. I mean, to curl it up and just like fling it and to get a bullseye dead center, Carol. It was no doubt on one bounce. It landed, bounce in. I heard people define it as the equivalent of a slam dunk. Some empty netters are like just easy, but that takes some skill, right? To be able to throw
that
it.
was skill, and also the fact that it was 60 minutes in acknowledgement right there.
Right. I think it's his
Yeah.
first. So just quick scoring update. The Wizards ended up losing that game. I believe it was 133, 122. If I, 133, 122. Beal had 37 points. And Russell Westbrook has a season high 17 assists. But obviously it's not enough. They lose 4 or 5 in a row now. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, unfortunately. But let's talk about good things. Like the fact that we were able to come away with this win here. Obviously, it got too close for comfort. But let's get into the second Philadelphia game and get through the scoring there.
Sure
And we'll talk
thing.
about that game.
So Saturday was that second Philly game of the week. Sprong and Hagelin each score with a backhander for a 2-zip lead in the first period. Philly scores at 2:36 into the second, and Jensen 13:10. The captain scores his 10th with a power play goal, assisted by Backstrom, which was his 20th, and Carlson his 17th. Golf clap for those guys for sure. Third period, Dowd gets his 6th, but Philly goes on to score twice. But the Caps do pull off a win 5-4. And this was like when we were chatting about Locker's comment about Claude Giroux. Like, what were the chances that someone was going to mention that no one's heard? We haven't talked much about Claude Giroux, and then all of a sudden he goes and scores and makes it a little too close for comfort for the Capitals. But this is a fun game to watch, but it was a little too close again.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that they even said that on the air. Watching, I looked at this here. I was on my phone or on my computer or something. I heard him say, I looked at the TV like, no, he didn't. No, he didn't do that. And not less than 3 minutes later, they pulled the goal. Claude Giroux scores and make it a closer game. I was like, really? I think I made it 5-3. Then it was 5-4. And Caps held on. But
It actually made it 5-4.
He made it 5-4. Yeah. But
yeah,
it was kind of crazy though, because we haven't heard Giroux's name, and it was just like, what are the chances? So yeah, when you guys put that in Messenger, I thought it was funny, but then I was like, wait, it's kind of funny, but not really.
The hockey guys in all different types of ways with that.
Yeah, no doubt.
But Samsonov was good in this game. Those 2 that he gave up in the second, still
real quickly. Double V just made an incredible save.
Yeah.
Sorry, 1:09 left in the third period here. But yeah, go back to what you're saying.
Yeah, so I mean, I think Samsonov played a good game. Hagelin finally, got a goal. He's been scrapping. He just had some bad puck luck most of the season. He's had a couple opportunities on breakaways, and just couldn't get the bounce or bounces over his stick. It's good to see him to get a goal. Jensen, he's been playing outstanding since he's been paired up with Char. Hopefully that continues to go well. Carlson, he's been playing well. Orlov, he's been playing well since they said that once his family, he had a family situation or something, but now he's with his family, had his family back with him, and he's more comfortable out there. He's made some good plays tonight, like I said, I haven't really seen him make as many bonehead plays as I've seen in the past. So I know Anna, she still keeps a close eye on him, but I think he definitely stepped his game up this year. He still,
Yeah.
makes some mistakes and has some flaws in his game, but he's been definitely playing more solid and more consistent this season
I,
than last season.
And there it
yeah.
is. The first Capitals shutout
There we go for
since
Vanacek.
January for January
Woo!
13th, 2020. So in over a year, they haven't had a shutout. And finally, Carol, we've talked about it how Vanacek should have had so many different shutouts, and it was
Yeah.
always
About three
elusive.
by now.
23 saves tonight, first career shutout for him. I have
Good for
Ooh.
him.
chills.
I'm
And
excited.
Ovechkin is 1 point away now from 1,300 points. So, a lot of great things. Nicholas Backstrom, as we talked about earlier, moves into second place all time in games played for the Washington Capitals. We've now seen them together play more games, well, obviously together as any teammates, but than anybody else in the franchise's history. So, what an incredible night
That,
tonight.
yeah, and soon to be
Six
400th.
400th point, 6-0. What an
Woo.
incredible game. I will take that for tonight. This will be a special night, and it will go down for a long time in our
Definitely.
podcast's history. So we've gotten to celebrate a lot of great things. At the end of the show, we'll talk a little bit about that in the 5 years. But that goal horn right there is whenever we win, the horn also goes off. And so it also tells me that it's going to go to sleep now, which is good. But I will take the win horn and the 6-0. And just an incredible night. We didn't kind of let our guard down. This was a classic trap game that we didn't. Let's finish up our talk about this Philadelphia game, and then we'll break down the scoring of this game, talk about it a little bit, and then we'll preview the week ahead coming up here on Caps Talk. So, Anna, we didn't break down the scoring yet, right, of the second Philadelphia game, or did you?
Yeah, no, I just did.
Yeah. I just
Okay.
finished breaking down my synopsis, and it was your turn for your.
Okay, it's my turn, and then all the excitement happened at the end of the game. Okay, so
Exactly.
I'm happy that we were able to hold on again. I hate that it got close again, but I mean,
Yeah.
Philadelphia is a tough team to win all 3 games in Philadelphia. Sam's first time playing back-to-back games in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
But I was really happy they went back to double V for this game. We talked about it, Carol, in our post-game show. We actually did a post-game show for this on Saturday, which was fun to do, a little bit longer than our normal recaps. But I said we got to go back to double V because we could see what Sam's got 3 games in a row, but I had forgot that it was going to be a back-to-back. And so I like the idea that he rides that wave. He knows that Sam should know by now he's still the starting goaltender. I think I know that they're both 1A, 1B, but I think Sam's your starter now that he's back, and double V is your backup, as it was always planned to be.
Right.
But you still want to give Sam that spot, 1 out of every 3 games if you can.
Yep.
And so this was his opportunity here to prove that he's 1B. It's not 2. It's not 1 and 2. It's 1A, 1B. Don't forget that I'm here. But I think it'll be great. You go back to Sam tomorrow night. They've already said that that's what they were going to do. And I think that that's great as well. Just overall, I'm happy that we got all 3 wins in Philadelphia. It's hard to get what I would call a road sweep in a week, 3 road games in Philadelphia. I don't think we've ever accomplished 3 road wins in Philadelphia in a week before, because it's probably never happened, right? So, I congratulate them for that, because Philly's a tough out. I'm not saying that they're the best team in the league, but going into the season, we said that there would be a top 3 team in the East, right? I mean, pretty much everyone had projected that. So it's not an easy out by any means. And Carol, any final thoughts on this one before we break it on tonight's game?
Nah, pretty much. Got the 4-game winning streak, 3 game sweep over Philly in Philly. That's a good thing for any DC sports franchise, let alone the Capitals. With Philly, the way they play, the way they were playing early in the season, they fell off a little bit now, but they're always a tough game, a tough matchup. It's good to see them, handle their business on the road and come back home and on their way back home after this game in Buffalo and see if they can continue that trend.
And winning some of these games in regulation, even though they let up on the gas, they still finish them in regulation. And that's a big difference, especially versus a team like Philadelphia. In New Jersey, if they get a loser point, it doesn't hurt you as badly. But if Philadelphia, one of the teams you're fighting for that top 4 spots, if they get loser points, it's dangerous, right? If they got a loser point in both of those games, it's almost like them getting a win. The fact that they got no loser points, we got, we both got all four and they got zero. I think that's huge, especially in a season like this. Give me a Flyers Rangers update. The Flyers are in New York right now. The Flyers took a 2-0 lead early on. Then the Rangers stormed back and scored 3 unanswered goals. But Philadelphia at the end of the second period tied it up 3-3. And then the Rangers took the lead with 3 minutes into the period to make it 4-3. And then just about a minute later, Claude Giroux ties it up 4-4. So it's about 8:20 left in a back and forth third period. So that game I don't have live, but I'm just going through the scores there. But obviously, when we bring Brian Brennan on in a little bit, we'll find out how they did. I'm sure that he's keeping tabs on that as part of our roundtable. But let's break down tonight's scoring. I have it in front of me, unless you have it, Anna. Either way,
I do, but go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
It is your 5th anniversary. Come on now.
Yeah, I used to do this all the time. So I'll do it once again. So Kuzi scored his 3rd goal of the season, finally, I would say. I think that he's been under a lot of scrutiny lately.
Wow.
Justin Schultz, 9th assist. Connor Sherry's 3rd assist. That was Kuznetsov's 400th point and made it 1-0 at 18:46 into the first period. So we played a decent first, not a whole lot of scoring, but I was happy that he got on the board with that first one. And then Nicholas Backstrom, on a monumental night for him, he scored his 11th goal of the season, assist by TJ Oshie, his 13th, and Nick Jensen's 9th assist made it 2-0 just before it was 3 minutes old into the second period on a nice sort of give and go play, sort of a nice play, or I guess it was off of a rebound, right? And then Backstrom put it in. Then Panik gets his 3rd goal of the season. Dmitry Orlov gets his 1st assist of the season, and that's 6 minutes into the second period to take a 3-0 lead. Daniel Sprong scores 15:07 into it, 4-0 assist by Nick Jensen. Now he has 10 assists. In the third period, 6:46, Garrett Hathaway gets his 4th goal of the season. Justin Schultz gets his 10th assist, and Carl Hagelin gets his 5th assist, made it 5-0. And then Alex Ovechkin, as we were just talking about, 16-21, his 11th goal of the season. He couldn't let Nicholas Backstrom be the only player with 11 goals on the season in this game. He reties it up, so they're tied at 11 goals, which is so perfect for when we're talking about games played and the sort of the symmetry of their careers. Makes it 6-0. They hold on for the shutout. Vanacek with the 23 save shutout, and just overall just a great game, and just really proud of the guys. And I'll get your thoughts first, and then I'll get Carol's thoughts.
Yeah, I love to see Kuzi back on. I think he needed that, and I think the fact that he was the first goal was great momentum for him. You can't go wrong with the Backstrom goal ever. But really impressed with Daniel Sprong. I have to admit, he is hot. I mean, he is played well. He is exactly where he needs to be. Wow. I mean, it's just and quite the chatter on social media about him and Tom Wilson. Hathaway, well deserved. Great guy, great presence on the ice, and nice to see him getting his 4th. And then, of course, you can't go wrong with an Ovechkin. But I have to say that my quote-unquote star of the game is going to Double V. Fantastic for him. Good for him. Great game and a shutout. I love it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I'm so excited. All right, Carol, what were some of your thoughts on this game? And then I'll break down some of my thoughts over the week in general.
It was definitely, I think we were thinking about this team playing 60 minutes and playing solid defense and shots on goal. This game, the first period they outshot Buffalo 13-2. Second period 11-7. Third period Buffalo pushed back 14 to the Capital 6. They scored on 2 of those 6. So I think we saw a solid game. Granted, it's Buffalo. We know who they are. Lack of offense, missing the star player. Only had 16 points on the year so far. So it's about beating the team that's in front of you They played, solid. They beat the team that was in front of them that they should beat 6-0. Like I said, at some point, you start feeling starting to feel bad for the goalie, but for the opposing team. But for our goalie Double V, it's great to see him finally get that shutout. To see this team play, defense and know what was on the line. The game was pretty much won. All they were playing for was pretty much the shutout. And it was good to see them not give up a cheap goal or a power play goal by the opposing
Mm-hmm.
team because of a dumb penalty. So, that's what I was speaking about earlier. We're seeing this team starting to build momentum and starting to fix different phases of their game that they're lacking in piece by piece. Like I mentioned, the neutral zone defense has been stellar the last 3 to 4 games. It's been very hard for the other team to get clean entries in there. They were having to dump it in, go chase, which the Capitals with their forecheck, that plays right into what the Capitals want you to do. So we're seeing this team slowly put it together under this new coach that, starting to get a little bit of faith in. I like the way
Mm-hmm.
they're playing for him. He benches players when he feel like they're not playing and they're responding. So he's pushing the right buttons at the right time. We just have to get the consistency to do it game in, 60 minutes, and keep that hustle and that grind at the same consistent level, and then see what happens when the playoffs come.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about how resilient this team has been. 5-0 since Tom Wilson has been suspended. I'm not going to toot my own horn too much, but I've been in the Capital Sin Bin group, and I've done a game thread for all 5 of those games, saying "Do it for Tom" every time. Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, Part 5. So I will continue that trend tomorrow, hopefully. And but I just like how the team was like, "Screw you, league, for doing that." And then we get
Mm-hmm.
Eller hurt too. And for us to come back and find a way to win these games without some of our star players,
Yep.
I think that's really kind of a crazy. I'm just it's awesome. Like no matter who's in the lineup, whatever the mixing and matching of these lines
Mm-hmm.
are, they're able to come through and pull through. And I think it has a lot to do with coaching. I think the fact that Laviolette early on when we were 4 games without Ovechkin, we did very, very well. And now that we're 5 games without Tom Wilson, we're doing very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives me hope to the future. The only person who's potentially out coaching him may be our old coach in Barry Trotz, who we have to play tomorrow. So, but at the same time, like the fact that he, in just a short season, remember they had a short off season from last year. He took over a team, and this is what we've got so far. And I've always said, I mean, I really would love us to win it all this year, no doubt. But like, give him at least one full season with an off
Right.
season before we actually judge. And just like what we're seeing with the Washington football team, we're seeing a team come together much sooner than maybe even expected.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a really exciting time for the Washington Capitals fans. We have a real opportunity this year to do some real damage in these playoffs. It'll be a very tough playoff scenario no matter how it works out. But I'm excited to see what we got going forward. Carol, what are your thoughts going into this Islanders game, going against Trotz, who's been such a hot coach, and how well we've been doing as well?
They're going to have to play consistent, hard nosed, hustle, grind, 60-minute hockey to beat this team. Islanders are incredibly hot right now. We have a impressive home winning streak. I think it's what up to 12 or 13. Um, they got to play solid hockey. It's at Capital One. They're on the back to back. The Islanders are already here waiting on them. So, I mean, plays in their favor because they're just coming off of a 6-0 win. But they were rolling the lines pretty well in the third period since they had a good lead. So can't claim tired legs. They have to come out, play smart hockey, no dumb penalties early, and get the lead first. We see this team play so much better with the lead than playing from behind. Not saying they can't catch up and score goals when needed, but it changes the whole dynamic and puts more pressure on the opposing team because they know how this team can score, and they see they just put up a 6 spot on Buffalo tonight. So it's all about not just about playing the game on the ice; it's about playing the game in the head also. So if they can come out here, execute, get an early lead, depending on if they're gonna go with Samson off for Double V, 23 saves tonight. He wasn't really put too much work in like the last third period. He had 14 shots on goal, but before that he only had 9. So will be interesting to see Samson off. He's playing well, still undefeated in regulation. Double V earned his first shutout, so I don't know. I think I ride with Double V coming off the shutout to see if he can, put together another quality game against a tougher opponent to see how he will react to the.
I think they've already declared they're going to Sam either way. Just in workload, trying to differentiate it. And he's played so well against Philadelphia. They want to see how he does against the Islanders, especially if Sam is going to be your number one. And then
Yeah.
they've got a lot of games this week, so Double V will get his opportunity. So they play Tuesday, Friday, Saturday still. So you give, in my mind, Sam the back to back, but you go right back to Double V on Friday. So he's a couple of days off to rest after having that game, but it's not like he'll cool off too much. And then they play Saturday, so it's a back to back, right? So then on Saturday you have Sam come right back. So that way they do the same thing. One starts on the first half, the other starts on the second half. You just do that twice. I think this week that makes a lot of sense, especially the way that the schedule goes Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, So I think in a different situation where it was like every other day or something, maybe I would do it a little bit differently, like you're saying, Carol, and ride it out and see how he does. But I think you want him to have the fresh legs, and I think for me,
But then looking at next week, after they have this quick stretch, they don't play again until Thursday.
right. So that way, each one of them gets 2 games this week.
Yeah, but I don't know. Coming off a shutout, rookie, with knowing that stretch is
If it
coming
was
up.
not Buffalo and they like shut out like the Penguins or somebody like high caliber that had like 30 shots, maybe. I mean, he actually had a light load, which I understand probably goes to your argument saying he didn't even face that many shots. But at the same time, I think if they had the mentality going into this game that one's going to get one, one's going to get the other, they knew that going into it, they prepare that way, then I think you just keep it that way.
Yeah, the same way we tested with Sammy because he hadn't gone back to back, even though Double V had been playing well.
But we don't know what they were telling them and behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It sounds like they had already pre-declared this is what they're going to do.
I say give the Double V after coming off his first shutout. That's just my.
I can. You can't go wrong unless you lose, and then whatever choice you made was wrong, right? So, but so far I like the 5-0. I have a question. Does this sound okay? I'm trying it without my headphones because we have somebody listening live here, but I just want to make sure that it's still.
Yeah, you good. You good.
Cool. All right. Yeah, it's been a exciting time. Let's break down those other guys. So it's the Islanders that one time. Anna, what are some of your thoughts on playing the Islanders, and then we'll get into this back to back against the Rangers.
Well, I think it's so crazy because the Islanders are 19-6-4, and they're doing fantastic, and they seem to be the team to beat. However, we've played them twice and we beat them twice. So it's like, okay, like let's hope that momentum keeps going. But I will 100% agree with Carol that it is all about smart and consistent hockey. But I also have said, like a broken record, I love when I see the players on ice having fun. Like actually there's not a cloud over them about, they have to do this, they have to do this. And that we saw that tonight, and we saw that a couple other games. Did we see the 60 minutes? No. That we need to see. But I like when there's just that, when they click, the chemistry, everything's great. And I do think that we are going to see a Brendan Dillon 1, 2, 3 fantastic games from that guy, because I just really enjoy watching him play. And I think that he's making a name for himself, and I'd like to see more upcoming. So I don't know what's going to happen with the Islanders. I mean, it's like we beat them and then they've got this great record. So let's hope we can ride off of this 6-0 win and keep it going.
That would be pretty incredible to sort of build off of this. I mean, I see what you're saying, Carol. Just ride the momentum, see how Double V does. I could go either way. I have an idea. I know that Brian's on hold. Why don't we bring him in early to talk about this back-to-back Rangers series? We can also find out how. Well, I can also look real quickly.
There he is.
Were they able to beat Philadelphia?
How's it going? It's just about to go to overtime. It looks like.
Yeah,
God.
4.
Yeah, 8 seconds left.
Are cursing Claude Giroux.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a crazy game. This has been a crazy. Philly almost scored a goal a couple minutes ago, but it was ruled offside. They reviewed it. So it's been back and forth. Hopefully the Rangers pull it out.
Yeah.
I see the bread man is back. How long has he been back with you?
He came back just the other day.
Yeah,
I think Saturday was his first game back, I think. Yeah.
I know we got to play that dude. Why couldn't he stay out for a couple more games?
I don't know, man.
Come up with another Russian conspiracy theory.
Yeah,
And he'll be out.
I'm just glad that whole situation. I hope it's resolved. I hope that whole mess is behind him. Like, I hope that's just like done.
That was shady.
Yeah, that whole nightmare.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone.
Yeah.
We don't know who's listening.
Yeah. You never know.
So yeah, Brian, I see the Rangers they tied up with Philly 4-4. For some reason, they've been giving the Capitals problems this year. What do you anticipate from this back-to-back with the Capitals this week?
Yeah, you mentioned the Rangers have had success against the Capitals this season. I believe they've played 2 games this season, and the Rangers have won both of them.
Yep.
So yeah, yeah. So I mean, I expect it in these back-to-back situations in the NHL. It's very difficult to win 2 in a row. So I'm going to say personally, I think these teams are going to split. And I mean, just the Capitals in general are a better team than the Rangers, and the Rangers are still, trying to figure things out. I think as a team, they're definitely not a playoff team in my opinion, but they're all right, I guess. They're still figuring things out. Like we were just talking about, they just got Panarin back, so they're trying to work him back in. They just had an injury to Shesterkin, their goalkeeper, so Keith Kincaid has been playing a lot of goal lately for them, so expect him to play one of the games in the back-to-back, and expect Georgiev to play the other one in the back-to-back. And like I said, I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be a great sports weekend with the NCAA tournament, and now Caps Rangers too, back-to-back. I'm looking forward to it, but I expect to split. I think Caps win 1, Rangers win 1.
All right, one more quick question. I know Robbie probably got some questions for you. I mentioned on the post game with Robbie a couple of days ago about Henrik Lundqvist back on the ice after the open heart surgery. I don't know much about him, but just seeing that right there, lets me know that man is serious about his craft. How do you feel about the great Lundqvist already back on the ice trying to get back in shape? Where the GM didn't rule out a possibility of him maybe making an appearance this year, long shot, maybe coulda, woulda, shoulda, but the fact that he didn't rule it out that he can maybe take the ice for the Caps. How do you feel about that, being a lifelong Rangers fan?
I mean, I love Henrik Lundqvist, and I absolutely love seeing all these updates on his recovery from the surgery. Seeing him, the most recent update that you just mentioned, seeing him on the ice, playing hockey again was awesome. Like, that's really cool to see. Just to know how far he's come in such a short period of time, and to think that he could potentially play again. I think maybe next season's a little more realistic. I think the fact that they're even talking about this season's crazy, but I don't see it happening. But I think next season is totally realistic for Henrik Lundqvist. I think if he could, I think he's definitely working his way back, and it'll be an incredible story when he does. And I'm hoping he gets his ring wherever it is. I hope he gets his ring.
No doubt. With all that bad news, unfortunately, Philly just scored.
Yeah.
To beat the Rangers 5.
Yeah.
Robbie, I know you got some questions.
Yeah, sorry, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
I appreciate.
Oh, it might not. It might be offside. They might be getting ready to review it.
Ooh.
Who was it? Who was it that scored?
Philly might have been offside going into the zone.
Is it on NHL?
No goal.
Oh yeah, you're watching. That's from a while ago. That's from
earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that was just. I'm watching NHL Network.
I thought you were ahead of me. I thought you were spoiling something for me for a minute. I was like, whoa.
Oh, okay. My bad, Brian. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So wait?
No, it's overtime. It's overtime. There's 3 minutes left in overtime. 4-4.
Okay, I'm sorry, Brian. I'm sorry.
No, I was really
I mean to give you
confused
a
for a
heart
minute. I
attack.
thought you were like spoiling something for me for a minute.
I haven't. Yeah. All right. That's good.
I'm
It's
watching so
overtime,
many
man.
highlights too, man. My bad.
All right.
Yeah, I'll let you know who wins.
Okay. Sounds good. It'll be an interesting matchup for sure this weekend. I agree with you. I think we'll probably split them just because we're kind of due. Tim's saying it's on NBC Sports. Is that right? Hold on. Now I'm curious.
I'm watching on my iPad, so
I'm gonna switch over and see if they do have this game on. All right. So yeah. Oh wow, I do have overtime. All right, I got 2 minutes left. 4-4.
yeah.
All right. So this is interesting. It's a live look on our opponent we played the most this week against opponent we have upcoming. So that's kind of cool. We just got about 5 more minutes left of our caps coverage, and then we're gonna bring in the rest of the team and stuff like that. Just real quickly, I want to talk about what time the games were for this week, if anyone had missed that. So again, the Islanders game is tomorrow at 7:00. It's expected that Sam is going to get the start, but there's a chance that Double V gets another start. And then Friday and then Saturday, I think that they'll split their thing. So all 3 of those games, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday, against 3 New York opponents are all at 7:00. And then we've got 2 against Jersey and another one against the Rangers the following week as well. So it'll start a long homestand where we're going to have 6 games in a row at home. We've been playing a lot of games on the road. It'll be interesting to see. They've petitioned now to try to get some fans into the home arenas. So here in Capital One Arena. So we'll see if that goes through. I will share any news of that on our Facebook page when that happens. And I've enjoyed the Power Play Point podcast today. And I'm sorry, I just saw.
Yeah, Flyers just scored.
Yeah.
It wasn't Konechny, was it?
I didn't even see who it was. It's Flyers scored.
It was Konechny.
Oh.
No, it was Voracek. It's Voracek. I'm sorry. Voracek does a deke move on the goalie. And,
wow.
Yeah.
That was that. Yeah, that was That's a
I'm
sport.
sorry, Brian.
It's okay. It's okay.
So it'll be interesting to see how we do against these 2 games in the Rangers and then the Islanders. But so Philadelphia won that 5-4. And I'm gonna get updated standings real fast on it. But while I could pull that up, I really enjoyed your podcast this week. Anna, if people want a mullet update, or if they want to know,
It's important.
Yeah, it's important stuff, and also how the Capitals are doing. You guys break down sort of these games that we won, but maybe it could have been a little bit better. Just real quickly, the Islanders right now at the top of the standings with 42 points. We've got 40 points now, I guess it is, right? So we've won 5 in a row, so we're right behind them, and we've played 1 less game than them. Then Pittsburgh's right behind us. I think they've got 35 points unless they play tonight.
37 now. They just beat Boston. 40.
Yeah, they just beat Boston. So I'm happy we won because they're still riding our coattails, only 3 points behind.
Looking at the updated standings, the Islanders and the Capitals are tied with 42 points, with both having 29 games played. Is the current standings that I'm looking at right now.
Wait, how is that possible? They've played 28 games and they have 40 points.
I think this was the 29th game. I don't think the app updated yet. Sometimes it take a little after the game. Sometimes it take a little while for to update the standings and the game played. They just showed on the post game that this game was.
No, but this was game 28 for the Capitals.
So I guess the post game must be wrong because they just put up 42 games played for both the Islanders and say they're both tied right now. I mean, both tied with 42 points in 29 games played. That's what they just put up just now.
Yeah, I have it. No, they're wrong. That's pretty hilarious that they got that wrong. But yeah, this is their 28th game. I just looked it up in the official NHL list of games. So it's game 28. They've won 5 in a row, which is correct. They're 9-1-0 over their last 10, and they have 40 standings points, playing 1 less game than the Islanders. So So that's not even the app that I looked it up on NHL.com.
That's what
So
shows on my app too. So yeah, they must have made a mistake.
yeah, that's pretty funny. Anyway, so but the halfway mark, 40 points, pretty good. We're right there with the Islanders, so it's a good place to be, and so we're exactly at the halfway point right
Regulation
now.
tomorrow night.
Yeah, so yeah, the 29th game would be tomorrow night. Yeah, but Anna, any final thoughts before we let you go?
No, thank you. Well, I say no and then I say something, but I just want to say thank you for including me in your 5-year anniversary. Congratulations. Many congratulatory years, and it's just so great. So I hope many years to come. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I'm happy you've been a part of this for 3 seasons now out of the 5.
So crazy.
That's pretty cool. Helping us start that huge Stanley Cup run that year, and been with us ever since. And so we really appreciate you for being such a loyal contributor and being a part of the show every week. It's been a lot of
One
fun.
of these days, Carol, give me the link to the sweatshirt.
Right. Okay. Well,
I got so much good.
I know.
I talked to my guy. And I told him, yeah, I got it. Anna, you just don't know what's been.
No, I do. That's why it's
I'm
like
gonna make a note in my notepad right now and set an alarm to talk to my apparel guy.
no worries.
well, anybody who wants to get any of the other apparel, it's live on our page, sportsothp.com. You can get some apparel, including some hockey championship sweatshirts and stuff from that run as well. And again, click the Power Play Point podcast button on, if you go to sportsothp.com, you click podcast partners, click Power Play Point podcast. You can catch more Anna and Gil. They have a great show as always. Thank you, Anna, for being a part of this one, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, thank you. And then I don't know who you guys are pulling for in the basketball because I don't follow it, but hopefully you will make money off of it if you're betting. I don't know.
Right, March Madness. Yeah, we'll talk to Brian a little bit about March Madness, but I don't feel it as much this year because a lot of teams are out of it. There's COVID stuff. I just feel like it's not the same. Like I'll still watch it and I'm gonna still put a bracket together, but I don't have that same energy that I've had in the past. But I'm happy it's back because last year it didn't happen. But
no, I am. So that's why I'm like, I hope you guys are enjoying that. It's just nothing. I never got into it, but whatever.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah. So I'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Sounds good. All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it as always.
Bye.
All right, Carol. I guess I will bring in the Wizards team. Will unfortunately have to break down a ton of losses in a row, which is not, the most ideal thing to talk about. But not all things are as good as the Washington Capitals are. So, so we'll bring in our team of that, and then we'll bring Carol back in to sort of recap 5 years and give our final thoughts on that. And so I think, I don't know, Rins probably will join us in just a moment. It's not quite even 10 o'clock yet, but let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen real fast to see if this works. I never tried to share my screen and be on Twitch all at the same time. So, we're trying new things all the time here to see how we're doing. We got the Wizards here. This has started to work. And then let me just make sure that, we'll see in a second if that actually takes. Yeah, I didn't think so. Hold on. Interesting. It just blacks out the screen when I do it. I don't know how you fix that. All right, hold on. Let me try one other thing. Meeting controls. Exit. Yeah. All right. Well, that's good to know. So that totally wrecks it. Stop share. Let me just see. Does that fix it for OBS? Nope. No, it's just completely jacked. Cool. All right. Anyway, trying stuff live on air for the first time and it doesn't work, but I'm going to just share the stats like I always do for all of our other screens and shows. And then we can try to reset the window capture real quickly here. Let me see. Does this work to reset it? All right. I'm going to give up in a second. Yeah. All right. We're going to